Welcome, welcome, everyone. Thank you for once again joining us for our bi-weekly live stream here at the Blue Lotus Meditation and Mindfulness Center in central Minnesota. Today is May 2nd. It is now 6 p.m. What a wonderful day outside. It seems that for the past 5 or 6 weeks or so, that it's been cloudy and rainy and cloudy and rainy and then rainy and cloudy. And those are they can be very joyful days, but they are not typically what we would expect for the spring season. We typically expect, sure, some rain accompanied by some clouds and rain and so forth, right? Getting ready for those May flowers. Remember that for our non-United States followers, we have a little saying over here: April showers bring May flowers. Well, today it seems like there's no more May showers. It's partly cloudy and the sun is starting to break out. That's how wonderful that is. And so when we think of spring, maybe we think new growth, right? Perceptions, how we identify a certain season. And that certainly can tie in to this evening's Dharma talk on the identity of self, which is how we view, or perhaps not view, what we see in the mirror each and every morning and throughout the day of ourselves. But first, why don't we start off with our wonderful guided meditation on healthy boundaries? Because when we think of the self, there are some boundaries that we can use to strengthen and support a nourishing inner well-being for ourselves. So go ahead and get yourself into whatever comfortable position that you do your meditations in. There are no right or wrong ways. Remember, this is a time for you to connect with yourself. So go ahead and get into position, whatever you like. Some like to lay down. Some like to keep their eyes slightly opened. Whatever that soft focus is, a few feet in front of you is perfectly acceptable if you have your eyes open, slightly open. And we're going to take a nice deep breath through our nose. And pause. And then slowly exhale out through your mouth. And while you sit there, go ahead and put that half smile on your face as well. Just like you see those Buddha statues, has that half smile on his face. Go ahead and breathe in again. Pause. And slowly exhale out through your mouth. We'll do a few more of those just to get our bodies attuned to the relaxation, to the calmness, to the sensations that we feel around us. And as you feel the weight of your body and how it presses down. Make sure that your spine is completely straight and your posture exudes that you are confident. As you breathe easily and gently, you feel safe and relaxed. And just let my voice guide you like a lighthouse in the dark. Breathe in. Pause. Slowly exhale. As the sun rises, you're standing on a beautiful, lush, green grass. And there's a small house that you've built by hand in the middle of this beautiful, lush field. And this house represents you and all of the work that you put into yourself. And the grass represents the world that's outside of you. And you decide that it'd be good to plant some trees and some shrubs so that these plants will aid in protecting you from harm. And they also benefit the world. For example, a raspberry bush is very spiky and dense, yet it gives a bounty of fruits for us to enjoy, for birds to enjoy, and other little animals to enjoy and be nourished by. If you plant many of these bushes in a row, they will protect you as well as a tall electric fence. But this plant also gives. This plant serves two purposes. When you plant tall trees, they protect you from the harsh winds if placed in a way that is good through all of the seasons. Tall trees supply us with the most oxygen, and therefore they are giving also while protecting. Trees also serve many purposes here. You look at these beautiful life forces that you are planting on your land, and you notice that they also need a source of water. You find the lowest lying area, and you begin digging down and around, making the shape of a small pond. As you step back from the circle of dirt you've created, you know that only a few heavy rains need to pour down, and it will begin to fill and turn into a natural source of water. And this pond also serves many purposes on your land. It not only provides you and the wildlife with water, but also gives you some place to go to meditate and reflect on the good things in your life and the good things that you do for others. Closer to your house, you see some needed vegetables and fruits. So create a garden that is easy for you to access with water when necessary. Breathe in. Pause. Slowly exhale. You plant all of the fruits you like and any kind of vegetables you need. Your garden flourishes and provides. And then all this garden needs from you is to be tended to. You look around and you see you need an orchard. So you mindfully plant many apple trees and other fruit trees right next to the protected area by the big tall trees and a little closer to the pond so that they may drink as well. Breathe in. Pause. Slowly exhale. And this orchard supplies you with the most delicious apples you've ever tasted. And the nutrients that they provide are just extraordinary. Off the charts. Look around your plot of land and you are very proud. Not only do these plants protect you and your home, but they give to you and the community around them. So make sure you work on this garden within you and put up the proper barriers that, if planted well, will love and care and also give. You are protected and allowed to lead a happy life. And then once again, go ahead and look at that home that you have built. And if you need to make any changes, you're invited to do so. You're an excellent builder. Go ahead and begin to open your eyes and look around you and reorientate yourself before standing or moving around. Wonderful. So boundaries, healthy boundaries, are very important for our growth. But what does that mean? Our growth, our self. What is our self? Identity. And to point out an example, we often see teenagers and adolescents begin to explore their own identities, maybe with haircuts, makeup, clothing styles. They're exploring new boundaries. They may even be trying to test you a little bit, your parents, their parents. And that's okay. Those are boundaries, healthy boundaries that we need to still set, though. But adults may make those drastic changes as well to the professional and personal lives. Perhaps we change careers, completely different careers. Perhaps maybe you had a production job or you worked in a factory. Maybe you went to school and got a degree or something, and now you work in human resources a little bit more on the inside. Maybe you end a relationship. Maybe you start a relationship. All kinds of ways adults can make those big changes in our lives, how we explore. But how do we think of ourselves? How do we identify with ourselves? And what I would like for you to do at this time is think about a form that perhaps you have filled out. Right? Think about the check boxes that you've had to fill in: male, female, non-binary, your race, African American, Caucasian, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, married, single, divorced, widowed. All those boxes that we check for any kind of application. Or maybe you've had to take some type of a personality test. Maybe it was for fun. Maybe it was for a job. And think about some of the questions that maybe you were asked to address. I feel happy when. I feel angry when. I feel sad when. How can we be any of these little boxes? how can we be all of those boxes? Well, it's a concept in Buddhism that is addressed as the non-self. There's some quotes out there, misquotes, I might add, that incorrectly say that Buddha said there is a no self. And that is not accurate. It's a non-self. And we'll talk about how we view ourselves and what does that mean, the non-self. And so the concept that we think of ourselves is incorrect. So Buddha was asked by a wandering merchant, Vachagora, and was asked this question about the one self, the self. Is there a self? And when Buddha was asked that question, he did not respond. And Buddha did not respond, simply meaning, or his non-response was simply meaning that there is no helpful answer. So if he wanted to say no, he could have said no. If he would have said yes, he could have said yes. And Buddha's attendant, Ananda, asked him, why didn't you answer Vachagora's question? And Buddha explained that were he to answer that there is a self, then that would be conforming with the Brahmins and the contemplatives who are around, who are exponents of externalism, or the view that there is an external, unchanging soul. And then if he were to again ask that question, and I explored it a little bit longer, he answered to him, and would that be in keeping with the arising of knowledge or the phenomenon of the not self? So if there is a no self, right, were he to answer that there is a no self, then that would be conforming to annihilism, or the view that death is the annihilism of consciousness. So there's a difference, see? It's not a not self. It's a non-self, N-O-N, non-self. And so if Vajrayana then asked, followed up with that question, if there is a no self, that would just lead to more confusion, and so does the self I used to have now exist? So it's an existential question. So it was a non-useful answer. So it's not a self, it's a non-self. So it's not a yes and it's not a no, right? And it also goes into the concept of inner being, right? Two sides of the same coin, but yet it is still on that coin. So that's the identity of self. or the non-self. And it's an important concept because even in Western philosophy, right? Rene Descartes, I think, therefore I am. And someone once asked Thich Nhat Hanh, how does Buddhism deal with that particular quote? I think, therefore I am. And his response was eloquent, that you are much more than your thoughts. You're not a sum of your thoughts. It's not you are or that you exist because of your thoughts. You exist because you exist, not because you have thoughts. Which is a really wonderful awakening. It's a really wonderful awakening, realizing that you exist because you exist. And with our identities, or the concept of our identities, is not what we have been told or instructed upon. It's much more than that. You are not always angry. You are not always sad. You are not always a male. You're not always a female, right? It goes, your consciousness goes. When our passing when our passing arrives, when we die, your consciousness is brought into being, into something else, maybe something completely different, but it is still your consciousness. That is what the non-self is. It's really interesting concepts. Beautiful and simple at the same time. Beautiful or complex at the same time, I suppose. It goes against what many of us have been led to believe. Something to think about. So our next Dharma talk will be on the 7th, or the 9th, I'm sorry, May 9th, 7 days from now. For our bi-weekly live streams, right? Every other Monday, right? From 6 to 6:30. May is a good month because there are 3 of those Mondays coming in. Oh, how wonderful that is for our next Dharma talk. Our first silent retreat of the season. It's a free event, so if you're in the local area or if you care to travel, you are more than welcome to and partake in our event. It's May 29th. It's a Sunday from 7 a.m. We can arrive at 7 a.m., but we really begin around 7:30, so it's a half-hour window for us to get ready until 4:30 in the afternoon. You're free to stay as long as you like. You're free to camp there the night before if you like. You're more than welcome to stay. We also have our Resiliency Plus courses continuously being enrolled in. Really help moving forward in really challenging times that we often face. And then we have our weekly sanghas that you are all welcome to join in. Throughout the course of the week, you can find our schedule on our website, but we have a healing sangha, a veteran sangha, our rainbow sangha, and our teen sanghas. And we also have our private meditation sessions if you want a more intimate in period of instruction, you're more than welcome to schedule for those as well. And if you do find our talks helpful and informative and enlightening, we ask that you please do like and subscribe to our channel. You're always welcome to. We're glad to have you, whether you watch us live or even on a replay someplace. You're always welcome. And with that, my dear friends, I wish you a night or evening or afternoon of peace and well-being for the rest of your day.